Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Don't forget, if you like the video, click on like and subscribe and talk about it on chat lines, wherever it is your social media activities, and help us to grow and help more people. I'll talk to you soon. So anyhow, from Luis Gonzalez, why the woman I date act affectionate at first, I guess, and after the first year, they stop. We break up and then they want me again back. It happens every time. I usually have to tell them to leave me alone after a while. Well, you got to give me more. Why do you tell them to leave you alone after a while? You mean after you break up with them and they want you back and they persist and you tell them, leave me alone? Well, first of all, many women establish their position in a relationship by heavy offering of sex. Very affectionate, sexual, depending on the culture. They could be sexual the way that we consider what full-on sexual intimacy is, or something to do to the level of the culture, sexual, affectionate and paying attention and so on. But that is how many women who don't have much else to offer, or they have much else to offer, but they want to establish the position in a very strong way by offering what man wants the most: sex, affection, recognition. So they pour on that. If it's a culture that accepts full-on sexual activity, then she gives it to him in whichever way he wants for the first almost a year. Then they stop pulling back. That's their way of control. Usually these are narcissistic people who go on, pour the emotions because they want the attention and ownership, and they are not so sure of themselves being able to endure the long run and keep the relationship interesting the long run. So they put in all their heavy artillery, whatever they have, they offer to make the man used to that kind of a interaction, totally convinced that this woman is the right woman for him, because all they can do is that, and they pack it in such condensed way in such a short time, as much as pleasure as they can, they give to the man. And the man becomes kind of relinquishes all his guards because that's what he wants. Intimacy, attention. They cook for him. They do all the things they could do. They look always nice. They give sex as best as they can. And they establish the position with what man wants the most. Then when the man is convinced that these are the signals and evidences of the loyalty and affection and truthfulness of the woman, as she's offering everything she's got by behavior and body, when the man is convinced of that loyalty, then he starts making concessions and becomes addicted to what the woman wants. And in the meantime, the woman starts changing. Less sex and more of control. This is some of the plans that many women actually have in their mind. Some, it just happens to be that way because that's the only way they can interact in that relationship. They don't have much else to offer. So they rely on what they have to offer, which is very precious to man. We're all, heterosexual male is programmed for procreation, wants sex. And if the woman plays her hand right, she's all dude up, all nice and all, the place is always nice and tidy and comfort is available and she's always available for intimacy. Well, that is what hooks the man into that relationship. And then they start pulling back to control. Then they unleash the other interests as far as expectations, whatever it is. So naturally, they create that secretion of dopamine in the man's brain by all the pleasurable things that they can offer. So the man no longer is just doing it for sex, he's doing it to get the dopamine, because every time he's satisfied and gets sex and gets his comforts and sees that, okay, he's busy with his work and the woman is actually complying to every other thing that needs to be done, let's say. So he gets that happy feeling, that feeling of something good is happening. And every time that this comfort is happening, there's dopamine released, sex and comfort of everything. And then after a while, no longer sex as important as it is, but it's also he's doing it to get the after sex feeling of the dopamine release. Then he gets hooked on the dopamine, which is result of her entertainment and her offerings. And then once he's hooked, not that they really know all these things, but this is the process. They start pulling back because all they think of is, I'm going to give him everything. That he really believes that I'm here and they actually want him. But then their natural, some women, not all women, their natural tendency is to now try to move on to the second program, which is controlling and trying to own all the things that is happening in that life. So they pull back. They start not being so sexually available. They start not doing all the things. And little by little, the man is going to feel deprived from that good feeling, the psychological security, the commitment that they were feeling the woman has, the dopamine that was hitting them every time with all these good feelings. So feels now in need of those and it starts complying to what the woman is actually now changed into. So the remedy to that is simply when you see the woman has changed, it's no longer the same way, but you have continued to be the same gentleman, the same kind person, taking care of her and doing all the things that you're within your responsibilities and your duties, then you simply break it off. Tell them to go. You discuss this matter and say, this is how it's what, this is how it is. If she doesn't change, you give her a few chances. If she doesn't change, end it. Because that is not a healthy relationship. That maybe started as a healthy relationship and she was in love genuinely, but obviously she doesn't have anything more to give. Therefore, she doesn't have enough confidence to bring a real good relationship and sustain it. Therefore, she's now after control because she's afraid the way she is and she knows how she is not going to be able to hold this relationship. So she wants to now get as much as she can out of it by turning this whole thing into a controlling mechanism. And that's when you need to have a discussion. And if it doesn't get fixed, then each wish each other well and go on your own merry ways. I hope that answers the question. And again, this is not about all women, but many are like that, especially in this day and age. All right, subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you.
Yeah, no
Thank you very much.